you so much for joining us today. I am here with Dr. Frank Lipman, and he is a New York Times bestselling author. He has 5 books, and he is also a leader in functional and integrative medicine. Dr. Lipman, so nice to have you on the show today.
Great to be on.
So let's talk first about your new book, How to Be Well. 6 keys to a happy and healthy life. Can you talk to me a little bit about those 6 keys?
Sure. The 6 keys is really just 6 areas that I address, because I think health is much more than what you eat. It's how you sleep, how you move your body, how you deal with stress, how you connect, your relationships to people, your relationships to the earth, and also how you deal with all the chemicals and toxins in the environment. So those are the 6 areas that I address.
Okay, and by the way, I'm just going to say I love the book, and it's very colorful and beautiful, like nothing I've ever seen. So I love that it's so different, and I feel like it's for everybody.
It is for everyone. I try to take all the information, all the knowledge I've gained over the last 30 to 40 years as a physician and studying all different modalities, and try to distill it and put it into a simple format, and in a format that it's accessible to people. Because I think a lot of my old books, most of them except one, a lot of books that are out there, can be hard to read, and people don't have the time. So in this day and age, when people want quick, snappy information, this is what this book is for. The millennials.
Yes, and I love it.
We perennials, but this is for
I'm not a millennial at all, but I loved it.
Do you know what a perennial is?
No, is that, I'm assuming it's me.
Well, I'm a perennial. I don't know about you. Perennials are aging boomers that are interested in staying healthy and living a long, healthy life.
Yeah, and there's a lot of us out there.
So those are we perennials.
Right, perfect. So,
but this is for millennials.
This is from, I don't know, it's for me too.
And perennials.
Okay, and perennials, I was going to say, I think for both. But yes, you've definitely hit that millennial market with the tips are all in there. They're easy to find and quick hits about what I can do and action items. So I love that. Now, you are a big proponent of doing a detox or an occasional cleanse. Can you tell me a little bit about why that's important and why you say people should do it?
Sure. Well, a cleanse is really just an entry point into healthy living. And what I learned over the years of seeing thousands and thousands of patients, if you can get someone to feel better quickly, then you've got them hooked on health. So a cleanse it's a 2-week way of taking foods that could be pro-inflammatory or irritating someone, adding some nutrients to clean out the gut, making someone feel good, lose some weight, less puffy, clearer head. Once you make someone feel like that in 2 weeks, they go, wow, I want to stay feeling like that. So to me, a cleanse is just really an entry point into healthy living. It's a way to get hooked on health.
Right. Well, I think I'm going to try your cleanse, so I'll let you know. I'll have to write an article about it after the fact.
Sounds good.
So you're also a proponent of supplements, and you talk about how important it is. How does someone know, what they should be taking, or is there one supplement that everybody should be taking?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, I don't think there's one supplement, the same supplement for everyone. And why I'm a proponent of supplements, it's just another aspect of health. And it's a supplement. It's a supplement to a healthy diet. It's not instead of a healthy diet. And why I'm a big proponent is, in our food today, because of the soil is not as good as it used to be, we're not getting the same amount of nutrients in our food, and at the same time we're more stressed out, there are more toxins in the environment, so our need is greater. So we're not getting enough, our need is greater, so supplement is sort of a good insurance. It's just a good insurance for staying healthy, because you need those building blocks to stay healthy.
So how do you know what to take? Like if I came to you and I said, I'm pretty healthy, I'm eating okay, I'm exercising, but I just feel tired and kind of brain fog, and what should I take?
Well, you asked, is there one supplement? There's not one supplement, but I think there's some common nutritional deficiencies that people have. Magnesium, for instance, is one. Vitamin D is another. A lot of people are deficient in omega-3 fatty acids. So I tend to recommend as a baseline just a general good multivitamin with methylated Bs in. Often a vitamin D, because most people are deficient in D, and you can measure that. I often recommend magnesium because, once again, most people are deficient in magnesium. And then after that, it varies. Often omega-3 fatty acids, a lot of people are deficient in that. But over and above that, it's hard. Some people want anti-aging, so there's certain nutrients or supplements that are good for the mitochondria, which are anti-aging. Some people are burnt out, so adaptogens are good. So it's a very personalized form of medicine. You need supplements should be personalized.
I was going to ask, I know you have a wellness center called 1111 here in New York City, and so is it something with the supplements that you can kind of test and see what people are deficient in and what's needed and put together a personalized plan for?
Sure. For some of the things you can measure. So always when someone will come to me as a first-time patient, you'll do various blood tests, you take a good history, and you work out from that what they could be deficient in, and then you try something and see how it works. But there's no one size fits all for everyone. I mean, I think most people probably need a multivitamin and vitamin D and maybe omega-3 fatty acids, maybe even a probiotic, but there is no one size fits all.
Right, okay. So now you also talk a lot about mindful eating, right? And can you explain to people out there who don't really understand, well, what is mindful eating, how you do it, and why it's important?
Well, I think when I talk about mindful eating, I think what I try and encourage people to do is be present with whatever they're doing. So if you're washing the dishes, wash the dishes. and that's, and if you're eating, just be present, because so many people in this day and age are looking at their phones, watching TV. They're not really being present while they're eating. So to me, mindful eating is sitting with your family, eating the meal, being present with whoever you're there with, and not watching TV and looking at your phone. So, theoretically, mindful eating is just paying attention to every bite of food you take, but it's really just being present in the moment with the people you're with. And when you're eating, eat. Don't watch TV. Don't look at your phone. Don't, and we don't do that in the culture anymore. It's gone. It's lost.
Well, and people tend to eat better, right, or eat less when they're doing it mindfully. Exactly. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. You tend to eat less if you're eating more mindfully. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been reading a lot lately about the negative effects of vegetable oil. I mean, I think you can't open anything health related in the news right now without hearing about it. And can you just explain to me, like, vegetable oil versus other types of oil, why all this news about how bad it is for you, and what should we be doing instead?
We've known for ages that vegetable oils are unhealthy. It's just getting a little bit of press lately, which is great. So I always talk about sugar being the devil, but I think vegetable oils are right up there. And why is that? First of all, there's no vegetables in vegetable oils. They actually seed oils, and they industrialize seed oils. So, and what happens with these oils is when you heat them, which is what we're doing, we're cooking with them, they become rancid, they become pro-inflammatory, they release free radicals, so they cause a lot of harm. Now, we used to cook with saturated fats like butter and lard, and for some reason, and we know it's not true now, saturated fats like that got a bad rap. So people stopped using lard and butter, and they went to margarine, which is trans fats, and then they realized, well, maybe these partially hydrogenated fats aren't so bad. We got these vegetable oils, which are industrialized oils, and they particularly unhealthy when you heat them. So we living in a society where you go to a restaurant and they use these vegetable oils because we're told they're healthy, because they're low in saturated fats, yet when you're heating them, they're more pro-inflammatory than saturated fats. So it's actually, these oils are probably one of the causes or factors in heart disease, not saturated fats. These vegetable oils, they're terrible for you, they're particularly unhealthy. So when you're cooking, you should rather use butter or lard or coconut oil, which is healthy. Coconut oil is healthy. You should use olive oil. Sometimes if you heat olive oil at too high a heat, it can be a problem. But for the most part, extra virgin olive oil is healthy. And avocado oil is another healthy fat to cook with.
Right. What are the best fats out there for not cooking with, but just eating? Are there fats that you would recommend people have in their diet?
Sure. Coconut oil, avocado, olive oil. I'm a big fan of animal fats if they're well sourced. So eggs, grass-fed meat. These are all healthy fats. We unfortunately have this belief system, this myth in the culture that these fats are unhealthy. Fats are good. It's the source of the fats. It's what we've done to the animals, which is a problem.
Right.
My philosophy on fats is, if it's made in a factory, it's probably bad for you, and if it's made by God, it's probably not.
What about nuts and seeds?
Big fan of nuts and seeds. Yeah, huge fan. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, some people have a problem with nuts. That's different. But for the most part, I'm a big fan of nuts and seeds. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned sugar, right, when we were talking about the oils as the devil. So what do you tell somebody, or how do you help somebody who feels like they are addicted? Because you hear that all the time, right? I'm addicted to sugar. I just can't go off it. I try and I just feel horrible, and so I go back on it. How do you get somebody to stop or moderate themselves?
Well, I put them on the cleanse often because that's a way to get someone off sugar. And in the cleanse, we have something called glutamine, which is an amino acid, which can help with the craving. But ultimately, sugar's a drug, and you've got to go through the withdrawal of the drug. It's the same as cocaine and heroin. It's just socially acceptable drug. So most people go through some type of withdrawal, but once you get through, it gets easier and easier. And look, I've been a sugar addict for many years. Now it used to be sugar. What can I? Now it's sugar. Is it worth it? Yeah. Sometimes it's worth it. I love sugar. Yeah. But eventually you get to a place where it's just maybe not worth eating as much, and having control over it rather than letting it control you.
The withdrawal period, is it different for everybody, or is there really a window of we can tell people, hey, it will usually take between this many days or this many weeks, or I don't.
It usually takes a few days initially, but most people go back on it and fall off the wagon and get back on. But it usually takes 3-4 days for most people to get through that initial withdrawal.
That withdrawal is hard, I'll tell you. I'm very healthy, but I do love sugar, and so I try, at times to cut back.
I've been through it many times,
So when I swam as a kid growing up, and my coach, all sugar we had to stop, even ketchup and salad dressings, we had to read every label. And I remember I was probably only 12 years old, but I went an entire year without sugar. And I'm like, why can't I do that now? It's so much more difficult, it seems like, as I've gotten older. But all right, so you can do a cleanse to help you do it, and cold turkey or slow?
Well, that I think depends on each individual. For some people, cold turkey is the way. For other people, slow and steady is the way. Those things, personality and habits are tricky things. So I don't think there's one way to do it.
Right. Okay. So I'm sure you've treated thousands of people throughout your career. If you could only talk to someone on the phone, not test them, not see them in person, what would be the couple questions maybe you would ask them to assess their health? Or is there something you can ask?
Yeah, there are lots of questions. My whole intake is asking tons of questions. You want to know how they're eating, what they're eating, how they're sleeping, how they're dealing with stress. Are they lonely? That's really important. I think community loneliness is very important. Do you have passion and meaning in your life? These are all important factors for health.
Okay. Your book talks about all of those areas, which
I
like that it's more than...
Good book.
It is. It's absolutely great. But I love that it talks about more than just what people think normally, like nutrition, but it does talk about those community, building relationships. And,
that's key to health. Yeah.
So you mentioned sleep. And I've been trying really hard to get more sleep. I think we're all so busy, we tend to figure, that's the one thing that can slide, right? And I'll just get more done and I'll sleep less. But how important is sleep to overall?
Sleep is probably one of the most important factors for your health. And I'll give you one example. We have a system in the brain called the glymphatic system, which is like a cleaning crew in the brain. It's as if when you have, let's say you're shooting in this office now, and you don't clear up, and tomorrow you come and shoot and the mess just piles up and piles up. You have this system in the brain that only works when you sleep. It clears out all those chemicals that you use throughout the day, being alert and awake. And if you don't sleep, your brain, this glymphatic system, doesn't clean these chemicals out. And over time, you'll start getting brain fog and eventually Alzheimer's disease probably. So it affects you. So sleep is crucial to your health.
So how much should we get?
I say at least probably 7 to 9 hours, probably a minimum of 7. Some people get away with a little bit less, but for the most part, I'd say 7 to 8.5, 9 hours.
And is it different as you age? So as we get older, do we need more or do we need less? Like, well, I've heard both.
It's a good question. I always was under the belief that as you age, you need less sleep. I don't think that's true. I think as you age, I don't think you need more, but I don't, because, as I'm aging, I see that I probably think I need less sleep, but I don't buy it. So now I just go to bed earlier because I wake up very early. So I just go to bed earlier.
Yeah. Now, hydration is another thing. I know it's one of the things I've been trying really hard to focus on and carry a water bottle, but how important is it to stay hydrated throughout the day with, just plain water?
Yeah, I think it should be with just plain water. I think hydration is important. I think especially as you get older, because as we get older, our senses of dehydration are not as acute. So older people classically can't perceive thirst. So they tend to be more dehydrated. I know when I come home, my wife, because if I don't have a glass of water or two on my desk at work and I don't drink, and I'll come home and my wife will say to me, "You haven't been drinking." She can actually see I'm sort of wilting. So I think as we get older, our perception of thirst changes. So I think it is important. Yeah.
Right. I just got one of those water bottles, Smart, that gives you a text message on your phone.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
So I've only had it for a week, but it's been wonderful, and so far it's made me really focus on drinking more.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, I know at your wellness center you do something called IV therapy, and I've never done that. I know friends that have done it, but what is IV therapy and what can it do for someone? Yeah,
I don't do that in the office. I just do. Otherwise, I'd become Dr. Feelgood. I'd be shooting everyone up. But now with my company, Be Well, we have an IV therapy department. We have nurses giving IVs. But IVs, especially if someone is run down or they're feeling sick or they want a bit of a boost, it's a way of getting nutrients directly into your system without going through the vitamins. It's all vitamins. So it doesn't have to go through the digestive system. But in my office, I tend to use it for people who are run down, tired, they need a boost, they're getting sick, things like that.
Right. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Jet lag.
Right. So we hear a lot about collagen, and I think maybe women hear more about it than men, but more and more we're seeing collagen-enhanced foods. We're hearing about, putting collagen in your coffee, taking collagen in a smoothie. How important is collagen for us? Yeah,
I think collagen is important because it's good for the joints, it's good for the skin, it's good for your hair, and it's particularly good for your gut. And it's just a nice protein to add to a shake. I'm a big believer in bone broth, which is and a lot of vegetarians just don't get enough of those particular amino acids that are in collagen. So I'm a big fan of collagen. I put collagen in my shake. I drink bone broth all the time. I think vegetarians often are deficient in some of those nutrients that you get in collagen, and I just think it's a nice boost for the system, especially when it's hitting digestion, skin, hair, joints. It's just a good all-round protein source.
When companies are putting it into food products, so not the powder itself that you're putting into a smoothie, but does it still have the same benefit if you're having a bar with collagen in it or a
I like that idea, to be quite honest. I'm even thinking of
something new maybe
I
coming
like
out.
the idea of getting, in other words, the idea of in a bar getting nutrients that can help you, sustain you, or benefit you is a good idea. I'm not sure yet, I'm not saying it's not the truth, how much collagen you actually get in these bars, but the idea of putting collagen in a bar instead of the crap that's there is a good idea. So I'm experimenting with different bars, and so I do like the idea. I just don't know if it's real just yet.
So we're going to wait
6
for the
months,
Dr. Lipman Be Well collagen bar maybe coming out.
It's why not put good nutrients into a bar? And people are the idea that I don't like the ideas. I'd rather have people eat food, but so many people are using bars, they're on the run, so why don't you put good nutrients into a bar. Most of them are full of sugar, full of crap.
They're horrible. It's like candy bars. You might as well have a candy
exactly.
bar.
So I do like the idea of that. Okay. So watch out. Be well bar.
We'll have to have you come back on here in 6 to 8 months and talk about it. As a runner, and I'm getting older, of course, I'm aging, I worry a lot about inflammation, and you talked briefly about it in the beginning, and I know there are certain foods that you can eat that help, but what else can you do to combat, inflammation?
Well, I think as a runner, probably the most important thing is to watch your alignment, because the problems that I see with runners are because it's repetitive stress. You're like pounding. That's not particularly good for your body, especially as you get older.
Right.
And especially if you're pounding and it's not aligned, you're going to start getting problems, first in your knee, then your hip, your back. So I think that's the most important thing, is to watch your alignment, get frequent body work to keep everything loose, because a tight hip is going to affect your alignment, for instance. So that's probably more important than the internal nutrients. But, keeping your gut in good shape is probably the best thing for inflammation. Having a microbiome or gut that's out of whack, sends off all these inflammatory particles all over your body. So I think the idea of the microbiome or the gut as a center of your health, and the probably the most common source of inflammation is important to remember.
So probiotics for
probiotics
gut health
are important, and avoiding pro-inflammatory foods, so the vegetable oils once again, the sugar once again. For a lot of people, grains can be problematic, so everyone's a little bit different.
Okay. Well, last question. I wanted to find out from you. I mean, I look at you, I've read your books, and to me, you're living this wonderful, bold life, but you're also helping other people live a healthier, bold life. What does it mean to you to live a bold life?
Well, to have meaning and passion in your life is probably the most important. I mean, if you're passionate about what you're doing, if there's meaning in your life, I think that's 3/4 of it right there. I think good, healthy, happy relationships, really important with your family, with your friends. Just being aware of what you eat, how you sleep, and how you deal with life in general. But I think having passion and meaning is probably the most important thing.
Right. Well, thank you, Dr. Lipman, so
You're
much
welcome.
for being on the show with us. This is wonderful. I love your book again. I just we'll put it up for everybody so they know where to get it, but it's just amazing. And I do think it's so much more than just nutrition.
Right, this is how to live a bold life.
Yeah, it is. Thank you again so much. So wonderful having you on the show.
Thank you.